We cling to our identities, our stories, our possessions, as if they define us, as if they are real. But what if the self you so fiercely protect is an illusion? What if true freedom lies not in becoming someone, but in realizing you are already part of something vast, interconnected, and ultimately beyond comprehension? Stoicism, at its core, is a philosophy of perspective. It's about understanding our place in the universe, not as isolated individuals battling against the odds, but as integral parts of a grand, cosmic order. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, constantly reminds himself and us of this vastness. Constantly regard the universe as one living being, having one substance and one soul, and observe how all things have reference to one perception, the perception of this one living being, and how all things act with one movement, and how all things are the cooperating causes of all things that exist. Observe, too, the continuous spinning of the thread and the contexture of the web. This isn't just poetic language. It's a profound philosophical insight. Consider the implications. If we are all interconnected, part of a single living being, then the idea of a separate, isolated self, the ego, with its desires, fears, and attachments, begins to crumble. This self is a construct, a story we tell ourselves, a collection of fleeting impressions and experiences. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, challenges us directly. What upsets people is not things themselves, but their judgments about these things. Our suffering, then, often arises from our attachment to this illusory self, to its perceived needs and vulnerabilities. This concept of interconnectedness, of a universal consciousness, resonates far beyond Stoicism. In the Bible, we find passages like Ecclesiastes 3:1, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven." This speaks to the cyclical nature of existence, the impermanence of all things, a core tenet of Stoic thought. And later, verses like Ecclesiastes 3:14, "I know that whatsoever God doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it," resonate with the Stoic idea of accepting the natural order. And in the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah 2:156 states, "Indeed, to Allah we belong and to Him we will return." This profound statement echoes the Stoic acceptance of fate, of the larger cosmic order, and the impermanence of our individual existence. But how does this cosmic perspective help us with suffering? Isn't it cold, detached, even nihilistic? Quite the contrary. Recognizing the impermanence of all things, including our own selves, allows us to detach from our anxieties and fears. Seneca, in his letters, powerfully states, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient. For he that is so wants nothing." The key is present moment awareness, a concept deeply embedded in Stoic practice. When we understand that pain, loss, and even death are natural parts of the cosmic dance, we can begin to accept them, not with resignation, but with a profound sense of peace. We stop fighting against the inevitable and instead focus on what we can control, our virtue, our actions, our inner response to events. Marcus Aurelius urges us, "Accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." This is not passive acceptance. It's active engagement with life, fueled by love and a deep understanding of our interconnectedness. The illusion of the separate self is the root of much of our suffering. We fear death because we see it as the annihilation of me. But from a cosmic perspective, death is simply a transformation, a return to the source from which we came. As Marcus Aurelius reflects, death is a release from the impressions of the senses, and from desires that make us their puppets, and from the vagaries of the mind, and from the hard service of the flesh. It's a release from the limitations of the ego, a merging back into the whole. This isn't about denying our emotions or suppressing our pain. It's about understanding their nature, recognizing their impermanence, and choosing not to be defined by them. Epictetus reminds us, don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom, to align ourselves with the natural order, to embrace the present moment, and to find joy and meaning in the simple act of living virtuously, regardless of external circumstances. Seneca beautifully captures this sentiment. The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately. Don't postpone joy. Don't wait for the perfect conditions. Find beauty and meaning in the now, in the connections you have, in the work you do, in the simple act of breathing. This is where true freedom lies, not in escaping suffering, but in transcending it through understanding and acceptance. The Stoics weren't advocating for a life devoid of passion or purpose. They were advocating for a life lived in accordance with reason and virtue, guided by a deep understanding of our place in the cosmos. They believed that true happiness comes not from external possessions or achievements, but from cultivating inner strength, wisdom, and a profound sense of connection to all things. Begin at once to live, Seneca wrote, and count each separate day as a separate life. So, let go of the illusion of the separate self. Embrace the vastness, the interconnectedness, the impermanence of it all. Find your strength not in clinging, but in letting go. Find your peace not in escaping suffering, but in understanding it. And find your purpose not in some grand external achievement, but in living each moment with virtue, with wisdom, and with a deep, abiding love for the universe and all its wonders, including yourself, a fleeting yet essential part of the whole. The cosmic perspective, it's not an escape from life, but a deeper, more profound way of engaging with it. It's a journey of self-discovery, of letting go, and of finding true freedom in the heart of existence itself.